This is the CBC Morning Report for today, Monday, September 4th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, Barbadian residents aren't the only ones finding themselves homeless in this country. President of the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness, Kimar Safri, has confirmed deportees and non-nationals have also been receiving help from his shelter. He spoke about the matter on the Public Affairs Department program One-on-One, which aired on CBC TV8 last evening.
An average person, Barbadian, will go and sit down in Freedom Park or Hero Square or whatever the case may be. That tourist doesn't know. So then they ask us, can we stay in? And we have to keep them in. When you keep them in, that's 3 meals a day. That's attending to whatever they have, any medical, any whatever, and that responsibility falls heavily on us. But we do help wherever we can. But it's not just Barbadians on the street. We've encountered people from all over, from as far as Europe, USA, Canada.
Mr. Safri has again called for new policies aimed at ending homelessness or improving certain situations. He reiterated that some laws are outdated.
We are seeing women and children on the street. We need a policy around that, because you can say, okay, a woman on the street, a child on the street, but that doesn't mean that there's a harm to the child. It is a harm to the child, because that child is now exposed to whatever. So we need to look at those policies that we protect the children. Where do we start to look at the homeless mental health state? Do they have to commit a crime to be institutionalized? Do they have a person on the street without medication? There should be a law governing that if you are on the street and you have a mental challenge, especially at a worst case chronic level, that you don't receive treatment, that you are found and institutionalized and given that treatment. Because if you're not given that treatment, then you become a threat to society. You become a threat to yourself. Sorry. So we need to look at policy that guides these things and change some of the archaic laws and policies that we have to help the individuals. Because at the end of the day, you're helping the individual.
The president of the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness also defended his use of monies donated to the cause. He notes that the alliance has 2 major donors who can vouch for his accounting practices and for being above board.
We also have government as a funding agency. Government receives a report from us every 3 months, financial report on how we spend their money. The Maria Holder Memorial Trust receives a financial statement on how we spend their money between every 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And then there's a financial statement because as a charity, the law doesn't state that we have to do an audit, but we have to do a financial statement. And that financial statement is submitted to corporate affairs every year. There's a penalty for not submitting financial statement. And as I was told, it's a public document that person can go to see. So our financial has been there from 2010, sorry, because we came on in October 2009, so to 2010 to current. That person can find our financial. We do receive our letters of compliance from corporate affairs as it relates to anything that they've asked us for. We comply. Because we know that people look at us, they think because I'm young, that the first and foremost thing I'm supposed to do is carry money from people. I don't need to carry money from persons. I work outside of this, consult in other countries. I do other things. I have other businesses. I don't promote them. I just do this as the main thing that is a passion. But when people donate here, people receive a receipt as well for the money that they give. And that also is put into the BRA system, the Barbados Revenue Authority system, and you are asked for your TAMIS number, and that TAMIS number is put into the system so that at the end of your BRA also sees how much was intake. And then we bring in the accountant, and the accountant would then, because we have an account clerk here, but the accountant would then oversee everything else and make sure all of the things. And sometimes we use external companies for checks and balances. So we are, and if Maria Holder, who have been with for 11 years, didn't see an issue, why they're still giving? The government, if they have a discrepancy, why they're still giving?
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, another attempt today to get Russia to rejoin the grain deal.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you. For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day.
Russian President Vladimir Putin will hold talks with his Turkish counterpart today as Ankara and the United Nations seek to revive Ukraine grain export deal that helped ease a global food crisis.
Half of Ukraine's grain exports cross the Black Sea to nations around the world. But after July's attack on the Kerch Bridge, linking Russia and Crimea, they stopped. That's when Moscow quit a deal with the UN and Turkey to ensure safe passage. Ankara is now seeking to persuade Russia to return to the agreement under which Odessa seaports ship tens of millions of tons of grain. The two men last met in Sochi just over a year ago, after the grain deal was reached. Now, the Russian president is refusing to allow safe passage for more than 20% of the world's grain supply. President Putin says the agreement enriched Western businesses and promises made to exempt Russia exports from sanctions have been broken. A sentiment echoed by the Russian foreign minister during a meeting with his Turkish counterpart in Moscow last week.
As soon as measures are taken to solve all those issues that have remained unfulfilled, despite the promise of the UN Secretary General, whose efforts are appreciated, as soon as the talks turn into concrete decisions, we'll be ready to resume our part of the grain deal the same day.
Those measures Moscow wants include the reconnection of the Russian Agriculture Bank to the SWIFT international payment system. That was cut off by the EU in June last year. And although Russia's grain and fertilizer exports are not subject to Western sanctions, it says curbs on payments, insurance, and logistics are hampering shipments, and it wants them lifted. The UN Secretary General says he has sent a letter to the Russian foreign minister urging resolution.
We believe that the Black Sea Initiative has given a very important contribution to make the food markets more adequate to our objectives of food security.
But Russia's foreign minister says nothing in this new proposal guarantees Russia's demands will be met. President Vladimir Putin's summer residence, Bucharest, an imposing Stalin-era palace near here, is where he will host his Turkish counterpart on Monday, a historic location for a grand event, as the Turkish president seeks to restore order and convince the Russian president to agree to a new deal. His failure or success will have global consequences.
Thousands of people have been rallying in the Niger capital, demanding that France withdraw its ambassador and troops from the Western African country, as its new military rulers have accused the former colonial power of interference.
The protesters are still gathering in numbers but we haven't seen the numbers we saw on Saturday. Probably you have between 8 to 10,000 today. Yesterday, where our camera position was, or is here today, it was impossible to even set up a camera while we're standing here today. Now, what they're doing is try to make as much noise as they can to draw more crowd to this base, military base in the capital, close to the airport where 1,500 French troops are. But again, what dampened today's crowd was the cordon set up around the military base here, housing the French and a few Nigerian soldiers. The cordon stretched for hundreds of meters, and then because of the effectiveness, it actually compartmentalized the protesters into smaller groups, which was easier for the security forces to manage. If the camera goes that way, you can see over there is another group of coup supporters who are listening to speeches and slogans from organizers of this demonstration. And behind the camera, another group. And further up there is another group. So they were sort of moved as far as possible away from the military base so as to secure the base. Many people here believe that allowing them to access into the military base like the way they tried to do yesterday would spark confrontation between the French forces and the protesters. And that was why security forces, Nigerian security forces, were quick to sort of douse the tension and, of course, push back the crowd. Today, we're seeing a better management of the crowd here at the military base.
It's time now for us to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados at 6:30, where we're taking a look at breast health, good breast health today. We'll also be featuring a few wonderful people coming through, sharing with us all about Death Awareness Month. That's this month, the month of September. Plus, Sade Jemin, attorney at law, will be here. We're talking about a free business building workshop, and we are celebrating 50 years with the Martyrs, an old local gospel group who will be here with us as well. Plus, remember, we're asking you if you are back to school ready. So competition happening right here. Make sure children between the ages of 8 and 15 are online to participate when they get the clues and crews. That's coming up at 6:30. But next, we have more news, sports, and weather. Stay with us.
The summer holiday is almost over, but are you back to school ready? Get back to school ready with Mornin Barbados and get a chance to win a back to school bundle, including a printer, a tablet, and headphones, just in time for the new school year. The Mornin Barbados Are You Back to School Ready promotion starts August 31st until September 13th. If you're between the ages of 8 to 15, all you have to do is tune in to Mornin Barbados and listen for when we ask, are you back to school ready? Call us at 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer 3 questions correctly and your name goes forward to the final draw. Remember, callers must be between the ages of 8 and 15. The winner will be announced on September 14th.
Agriculture Minister Inder Ware is encouraged about the possibility of workers in the island sugar industry being able to have a stake in its continued development. Minister Ware made the comment as he acknowledged that there has been an expression of interest by a local credit union consortium to take over the operations of the Barbados Agricultural Management Company. The minister tells CBC he's unable to go into details about the proposals since he still has to make a formal presentation to Cabinet for consideration.
I am pleased to note that there are private investors who have faith in what we are doing and who can see that the returns on their investment will be more than worth it. And I'm also pleased to note that it includes the workers. This is the first time we have an enfranchisement model that allows for the owners of the sugar industry, the workers, of the sugar industry to become the owners. This has never happened ever anyway in this hemisphere. And So therefore, I think this will be a historic moment for Barbados. And these are the things that I'm happy about.
From just over 6 hours ago, Barbadians started paying more for petroleum products. The price of gasoline is now $4.22 per litre, while diesel is $3.47, an increase of 14 cents each. Kerosene has gone up by 29 cents to $2 per litre. The adjusted prices of liquefied petroleum gas will now be $150.90 for the 100-pound cylinder, $42.80 for the 25-pound cylinder, $37.85 for the 22-pound cylinder, and $34.41 for the 20-pound cylinder. 3 females have claimed the top prizes in this year's Don't Meth It Up competition. Organized by the National Council on Substance Abuse, the contest encouraged entrants to submit works on poetry, illustrative posters, or an essay. In the end, Maria Chandler won the essay category, Carenza Yard poetry, while Anya Graves dominated the posters. The NCSA's deputy manager, Troy Wickham, says these contests are important in the anti-crime fight.
Know that through music, drama, dance, visual arts, youth can draw attention to problems in their community, educate others on the benefits of a drug-free lifestyle, and suggest ways to deter the misuse of drugs. Research suggests that young adults who participate in bands, drama, art clubs are significantly less likely than non-participants to be arrested, that is, to come in contact with the criminal justice system, use drugs, or engage in binge drinking.
Guyana has recorded a spate of vehicle accidents more recently, some fatal. And this is worrying for the president, Dr. Irfan Ali. He has called for a collective approach towards addressing the issue with the aim of reducing accidents. NCN TV has that story.
Over the weekend, at least 8 young people died in separate accidents in the West Bank and east coast of Demerara and Berbice. And according to the police reports, the main cause was excessive speeding on the roadways. President Irfan Ali says while a more comprehensive plan is being implemented to strengthen public education, more support is needed from parents, the media, and all other stakeholders.
We have to also move to the enforcement of laws, demeriting system, suspension of license. We have already moved on the electronic ticketing on the new road. In 1 month, you had over 5,000 tickets. People are speeding, So we have to look at this in a collective way, all of us.
The head of state also expressed profound sadness about mainly young people losing their lives.
It is heart-wrenching. I mean, how many? Eight persons in one night. And look at the age group. Very young people. The whole future ahead of them. Societies are wrecked. Families are wrecked. We have to hold this as a national issue and deal with it as a national issue. And that is what I advise the Commissioner of Police.
In an effort to improve road safety and reduce accidents on the roadways, the Guyana Police Force, in collaboration with Impressions Branding, launched a national traffic campaign titled Respect the Road last month. The campaign is among a series of initiatives that will be rolled out by the force aimed at curbing road accidents and deaths.
St. Lucia's Ministry of Health has reiterated calls for the public to join its fight against the Aedes aegypti mosquito. The call to action comes as the French Department of Martinique records over 600 confirmed cases, with thousands more suspected. We get more in this HTS report.
It's been almost a week since Martinique health officials declared a dengue fever epidemic. Now the health ministry here wants more public involvement to help eradicate the breeding sites of the mosquito which spreads the virus, to prevent St. Lucia from suffering a similar fate.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs would like to again implore the St. Lucian public to join us in the fight against the Aedes aegypti mosquito. This request comes in light of recent reports coming out of our next door neighbor, Martinique, where a total of 690 cases of dengue fever have been confirmed and 3,000 have been suspected. Like Martinique and the rest of the Caribbean, dengue fever is endemic to St. Lucia. Thus, it is imperative that we utilize all possible measures to significantly reduce the mosquito population and to prevent an outbreak of dengue fever in country.
The culprits behind dengue fever and other similar diseases is the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Since the insect favors water-holding vessels, eliminating such containers is paramount in the fight against dengue.
Intensifying mosquito control strategies are therefore of utmost importance. This is why it is necessary to get citizens actively involved in mosquito control. For prevention in the home, householders are called on to reduce the number of key mosquito breeding sites. We, the Ministry of Health, are calling on individuals, families, and communities to join us in the battle to reduce mosquito breeding sites in and around the home.
Health officials are pleading with residents who collect and store water to ensure containers are sealed. Long-sleeved clothing can minimize the chances of being bitten by the disease-carrying mosquito.
The Bahamas Humane Society wants more to be done to protect animals after a video went viral showing what it says is the mistreatment of swimming pigs in northern Bahamas. Our News reports.
They make them swim all the way out there and then tread water. They don't want to.
It was this clip that went viral after visitors say they were horrified by what they thought would be an exciting swimming with pigs experience. Instead, they claimed they were met by 6 hogs in a cage on a beach who were forced into the water to interact with guests. The clip sparking outrage. Bahamas Humane Society President Kim Arana.
It's just a bunch of people who know nothing about animals and they're doing whatever they want.
Shelter manager at the Bahamas Humane Society, Inspector Percy Grant, adding that the exploitation of the animals is not a good look for the country.
Pigs have been popping up all over the island. Everybody wants to make some money. I know that people are hurting, and I know the country is just opened. So any form of trying to make some money, people do, but this is not a good thing.
According to the viral post, the visitors believe they would be participating in an activity similar to the famous Swimming with Pigs excursion in Exuma, where they say the pigs are allowed to roam freely. But
time now for sports. Raheem Cornwall led Barbados Royals to an historic victory last night in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League as the home team reached the highest ever successful runs chase at Kensington Oval in the CPL. The visiting St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, winning the toss and batting, posted an imposing 220 for 4 off their 20 overs. Skipper Sherfan Rutherford top scored with 65 not out. That included 5 4s and 5 6s, while Will Smead added 63. Player of the match, Cornwall took 2 for 27, and then, opening the batting, he smashed 102 retired not out of just 48 deliveries, inclusive of 4 4s and 12 6s, as Royals replied with 223 for 2 off 18.1 overs to win by 8 wickets.
Raheem Cornwall picked up 2 wickets with the ball. The first, Andrew Fletcher, who was going at nuts, and then Will Smead. 2 important wickets in the context of the game, and then with the bat, fireworks from the very get-go, and he continued the momentum throughout the course of his innings. Some really lusty blows, and that celebration for me, El Dorado celebration at its best.
I am going to anoint him King Cornwall of Kensington, at least for a night.
Skipper Rovman Powell added 49 not out to bring it home for the hosts. That third victory for Royals elevates them to 4th spot on 7 points, while the Patriots remain winless and in last place on 2 points. Today is an off day in the CPL as the tournament switches to Trinidad and Tobago. Meanwhile, the Barbados Royals winning streak in the Massey Women's CPL is now at 3-love after they beat Guyana Amazon Warriors last evening by 3 wickets, still at Kensington Oval. Opting to bat first, the Warriors posted 146 for 4, led by Sophie Devine with 42 and Natasha McLean with 38. Erin Burns took 2 for 32 for the Royals. Here are the highlights. We'll bring them to you later in the day. Now, Burns returned to anchor the runs chase with an unbeaten 53 off 41 as the Royals finished on 147 for 7 with 4 balls to spare. Off spinner Yanka Patil was outstanding for the Warriors and with 4 for 34 in the losing effort. The Royals topped the table on 6 points. Time now to take a look at today's weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1013.5 millibars. It's 27.8 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity stands at 79%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 24 kilometers per hour. Present weather, fair with slight haze. Sea conditions for Barbados for today, moderate in open water, with swells ranging from 1.5 to 2 meters and increasing. And here's a look at how the tides roll in. General forecast for Barbados. A mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. Into the evening, here's what you can expect. A mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated showers as well. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. It is Monday, September 4th. Welcome to another presentation of Morning Barbados. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. I certainly hope you had a wonderful weekend. Got a little rest if that's what you were looking for. Or maybe you got out to cricket. What an outstanding performance from the Royals last evening. I'm sure you enjoyed it. I drove past the Oval and I saw that Barbadians were out certainly in the hundreds, if not thousands, to support our boys. So wonderful stuff, and the ladies as well. Congratulations to both teams. They're now heading off to Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, you can follow us online, and of course we encourage that as well. We love to have you with us, whether you are not in Barbados or you're on the island. You can follow us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So you have absolutely no excuses if you're not using your TV set. You can find us just about everywhere. So we have a great show planned for you today. I'm hoping that you can stick around. Most importantly, we're encouraging the little ones to keep watching and viewing because we're asking the big question, are you back to school ready? That's right. So once I give you the cue and the clue, then you call. You must be between the ages of 8 and 15. And once I pose that question, we're going to pose 3 questions and you can answer the question, then your name goes into the pool and you get a chance to win a bundle. You get a tablet, a headset, and a printer. Compliments of our partners for the Are You Back to School Ready promotion. So you want to make sure that you look out for that. Also, we're talking breast health and breast cancer awareness. It's a series that we started last week with Dr. Dale Springer, Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. So today we're going to be working on debunking some common myths and bringing some questions about breast lumps and breast cancer generally as we continue to bring awareness to that as we look toward the Walking for the Cure, which is one of the major events that we see happening around breast cancer and breast health awareness. Also, coming up on Morning Barbados today, we are going to be taking a look back at the weekend to see, what happened, what you did, how things went. We most certainly shared many, many places that you could have been to enjoy yourselves this weekend and support some worthy causes. The Blueprint for Success, Sade Gemma, attorney at law and business consultant, she'll be in to talk to us about a free business building workshop to help you better navigate in business and creativity. Registration is coming up soon, so we want to make sure that we talk to you about that as well. Plus the Martyrs. Can you remember that gospel group from many, many years ago? They're celebrating 50 years, and we're going to have Bishop Nigel Harris and Leroy Stricker, who are all members of the Martyrs. They're going to be here to share with us. Now, September is a very, very important month. Not saying that those of us born in other months, that's not important too, but September is the month that we look at deaf awareness. And for this entire month, we're going to be sharing with you weekly, little bits of things that you need to know. So joining us this morning, we have the beautiful Sandra White Belgrave, who's president of the Barbados Horizon Deaf Charity, and Christina Riley, who's a member of the Barbados Horizon Deaf Charity. And they're joined by Paula Medford, who is a sign language interpreter. Good morning to you, ladies. So wonderful to have you with us today.
Good morning.
Wonderful. All right. So talk to me about the Horizon Deaf Charity. Let's start with you, Madam President.
Okay. Barbados Horizon Deaf Charity is focused on deaf and hard of hearing. It's supposed to bring together those in the community so that we can support each other, work together, and also help them to see a better of themselves. We are the voice for them in a special way. We also go about to support them in such a help them to explain about life, help them to understand about how they can get the kind of services they need. And we want to be able to be involved in the community, because being involved in the community, others be able to see who we are, what we can do.
All right. For you, Sandra, for you, Christina, rather, tell me a little bit about what it's like being a deaf or hard of hearing person in the community, some of the challenges that you've experienced through the years that you hope to change through your membership in this society.
I was not born deaf. I became deaf at 4 because of a sickness. Since that time at school, I learned how to speak, but I learned how to speak because of associating with hearing individuals. That's also why I'm able to lip read. So I've learned what I want in life, and I try to encourage other deaf to reach out for what they want as well. To be professional, how to exist within society, not to be afraid of associating and interacting with hearing. It is true that I'm deaf and I have a disability, but I will be brave and I will stand up and I will speak up. There's nothing to be afraid of, because I am proud of who I am. Because God made me. And I have 3 beautiful children in my life. And I worked hard for that. So I am pleased with who I am.
Oh, that's beautiful. And back to you, Madam President. Let's talk about some of these objectives that you have in mind for the organization. I know every president, as they come into that hot seat, because as is the case with every organization, being president sometimes it can carry a heavy burden, but I know you have your own objectives as well as the overarching objectives of the organization that you would like to achieve during your tenure. So what are some of these objectives that you would like to achieve for the members of your community generally?
Very good point. Through the group, the community, it's not very knit together like how other people will knit as a culture. One of my goals as a personal is to not just to bring them together, but to know that when we work together, that a lot can be achieved. And if each one trying to do their own thing, they will always cause this separation. We will not be able to achieve the same goal set for us. We will not be able to speak up where we like to speak up. And the fact of this, I'm only aware of very few deaths around me as I mingle among the association. But in fact, it showed me that there are more than 2,000 deaths and hard here in Barbados, which tell me that if I'm able to help them, they have to reach out to us so that we'll be able to find ways so that we can work with that to help them to achieve their goal. So one of my most important things too is communication between not just the deaf and deaf, but the hearing and the deaf in general, but we to have a more unity together.
All right, that certainly doesn't seem like so much a tall order, but in order to get there, there are a lot of things that obviously would need to be done, and I'm happy that you ladies are here this morning. I think this is a wonderful way to start, because a lot of people, they stay away, or because of that lack of engagement that you spoke of, people don't necessarily feel like they know and can appreciate what it is you need. And most certainly people can't determine what you need. So with that said, Christina, talk to me about some of the many challenges that you want to see changed in terms of how people maybe view the hearing impaired, the deaf community, how people view people who are hard of hearing, and what are some of the challenges that presents?
There are policies that need to be changed because people think that deaf individuals cannot do anything, and that is not true. They can do anything. The rules here in Barbados, anywhere in the world, need to be changed. Hearing people need to be respectful of deaf. And deaf want to associate with hearing individuals, and we want them to understand we can do anything. If we don't associate with the hearing, we would not learn a lot, because for me, I was associating only with deaf, but there was so much more for me to learn. Sometimes hearing people don't like how I behave. So there are things that need to change, need to be respectful. We need to teach deaf individuals how to do things. Hearing people refuse to help the deaf. I've told the deaf they have to stand up for themselves and speak up. The government needs to give the deaf support. I still encourage them, but I'm not giving up. Yeah. I will fight for it. I will fight for the deaf. I will. The deaf also have to do something for themselves too. It hurts to deaf in Barbados. People need to respect us. For driving licenses, for example, insurance. To find work. They don't see what the deaf do. They refuse to give us driving licenses and insurance. There are many deaf who drive in Barbados. And they're very good drivers because of having to rely upon their sight. I have driven for 12 years and never had an accident because the deaf are very careful. Even though we can't hear. But I have eyes to see. That is the best way because God has always blessed us, deaf individuals. For example, my 3 children, my boys aren't deaf. They learn sign. They understand me when I speak. But I understand that most people don't understand. They think that my children are deaf, but it's not true.
Well, you know, we see all those misconceptions and we hear all of those myths that are happening. That's why you're here, and that's why we're hoping to be able to share a whole lot more. When we come back, I want you ladies, as more mature ladies, to share with us, you know, some of the challenges that the younger ones have as we make our way through talking more about some of the challenges experienced by the deaf community, and of course, how we're going to get to a place where we're more respectful and where we're able to help you to integrate more into society. So we're going to take a break here and come on back. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get
a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. And if we think about that, that means that many of us, wherever they go to conduct their business, if they're seeking health care in schools, there must be people who can communicate with them. And that's very, very important. Just as much as we talk about being bilingual or trilingual, you know, being able to speak other languages, it's very important, with Sandra, of course, telling us that there are over 2,000 deaf and hearing impaired people or people who are hard of hearing here in Barbados. It means that the onus really is on us to be able to open up those lines of communication. For you, Madam President, for you, Sandra, talk to me about some of the challenges that the little ones might be experiencing. And I'm interested in hearing Sandra's, Christina's take on this as well, because I know Christina said that she was hearing right up until age 4. So I'm interested in trying to figure out how it changes for the little ones and what are some of the challenges that are specific to them at this time as we seek to change their experience in interacting with members of the community.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Yes, please.
How are we going to change how we interact with deaf children to make life better for them, easier to interact and live as normally as possible?
Okay. Like Christina, I was born hearing, and I got a car accident at 2. So coming up in the environment, into the society, was not an easy task. Especially, I went to a general school, mainstream school, and studying in that classroom was not very easy. But in it all, I was able to achieve the many things that I needed to achieve. But today's young deaf individual children, my only thing is that they need to be more interactive with the deaf community, because yes, the hearing will speak one way to them, but for them to feel and experience the language, they need to be involved in the deaf community as well. And not able to do that, they cannot not able to express themselves the way they would like to express themselves. And when they leave school, they find it more difficulty and they go into the more depressed stage. So they need to be more involved in the community. At the same time, the parents, whoever, the guardian, need to also learn their language to help communicate with them, because the more you communicate with them, the better they'll be able to understand life better and able to make the best decision. So all deaf really need to be incorporated more, to be included more in the activity, and be able to, grab what is for them out there.
All right, now, Christina, I know that you are bold. Even the way you're speaking, I can tell you're a very bold lady. But are there some situations or places that you are apprehensive to go because you're not sure what the engagement would be like, or whether people can truly understand, what you need?
Anything. I'm not afraid of anything, but I will speak up. That is who I am, and I encourage other people. I'm not afraid of anything. I remember I've always been a strong woman no matter what, but people have to understand there's nothing wrong with the deaf. Don't be afraid of them. The deaf will not bite you. We're friendly. We have a good life, but we need to remember we want to help the deaf to improve. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you want to learn sign language, you can learn sign. There are always opportunities to be able to learn. I know of one woman. I know, for example, another interpreter, Bonnie Leonce. She teaches individuals to sign. She is willing to teach. She will teach you more. There's nothing wrong with using sign language. It is a beautiful language.
All right, with that beautiful language, it's time for us to engage a little bit in terms of basics. You know, going into a business, going to a healthcare institution, you know, what would you like to see as the basics when you come in for people to be able to engage with you? And when I say you, I mean you generally, not just the two of you specifically, because there are some people who really are not as bold as you, Christina, who they might need to see that level of engagement where they want to see someone who they feel like maybe I can communicate a little with them. So, you know, let's start there with basics.
The simple way to start is learning the alphabet, for example. It's not hard. It's easy to learn your alphabet. That's something you could learn quickly. Don't be nervous. Just go ahead and breathe. You can do it and start learning with that, the alphabet. Or something simple like good morning, good night.
You went too quickly. Okay.
I can say it again. Good morning. Good. Good. Morning. Good night.
Okay. That's enough for me for today. That's a good start. That's all she's giving us, people. So we're practicing that all day. I'm telling people, good morning. All day. That's going to be me. All day, that's going to be me. And I want you guys at home to practice as well, because we're going to be kind of bringing you along for this journey to make sure that, you know, we come out at the other end at least knowing a little bit more. What are the plans, Sandra, to foster some of this engagement with members of the public more? As an organization, I know that, you know, the power is in your hands to be able to reach out, which is what I think we're at the stage that we need to do. It's okay to talk about bringing other people on board, but we have to move to make it happen. So what are some of the projects maybe that you're looking toward to be able to bring more hearing people in line with what you need and engage at a closer level?
Well, for this month, we have quite a lot of activities for the deaf and involved of the hearing. This Saturday coming, we're going to have hands in praises, whereas you're going to see sounds in sign language. And also the 14th, we're going to have a doctor explain to us the reason about hearing screening, the importance of hearing screening. So we have quite a lot of activity involved with deaf, especially the most focused one is the 23rd. We're going to be a movie night at the National Disability Unit. That is going to be no sound, only caption. Come and experience how the deaf actually watch through movies and everything by just reading and start interacting with each other. So, you know, some people can't go without noise, but at least you will be a quiet scene where you can come and just see how the deaf really experience how the deaf watch TV, reading the captions on the screen and that. So we have quite a few even workshop involved. We're going to be visiting some school. So it's a lot we have a plan for this month, and then it will be posted on our Facebook and on our WhatsApp so that we have a better idea of what we are planning to do and they can get involved with us as well.
All right, I want to thank you ladies so much for coming in and sharing with me. Learn a little something.
Thank you.
All right.
No problem.
No problem.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. And I certainly look forward to sharing with you a whole lot more. The theme for 2023 is a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. Let's make an effort to learn together. I think it's very, very important. And before we go, Paula, I think it's important for you to share with us why you decided to sign and what your experience has been like.
Well, I have a friend who, like Lisa Lee, she was born hearing, eventually became deaf, and she needed assistance. And there was someone who was helping her, and I love languages, and I started by watching and picking up signs, 1 or 2 signs, and then eventually when they were no longer here, I had to continue helping her, and it just continued from there.
I know that Bonnie tells us a lot that people, because she signs, people think she's deaf as well. So do you get that too?
Sometimes, yes. People are surprised. Like, you can speak, but it doesn't happen a lot. Christina has one question.
Sure.
One thing that I need for the news, we need the words to be available as well. Yes. Oh. When people are referring to the deaf, we need to stop using the word deaf and dumb when we're speaking about those who are deaf. Just call an individual dumb. It is hurtful to the deaf.
Okay.
Don't ever say the word dumb anymore because it's discriminating. The deaf do not like that. Saying dumb, that is, we've moved past that. It's not that the deaf cannot talk. Do not do that. Do not call us dumb. We can speak. We can vocalize. There are a number of deaf who are born deaf.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter what they are. Don't ever call us dumb.
All right. Well, Christina, keep us in check.
Thank you, that's all.
Christina, keep us in check. That's important. Keep us in check. We definitely are going to keep on trying our best. I know a few years ago we were working heavily on instituting the closed captioning for CBC TV8. Maybe that's something we really need to put back on the front burner as well, speaking out of turn, as usual. But again, I look forward to our discussions in the coming weeks, and make sure you share the activities that are coming up with us so that we can share with the audience and we can get on and be a part of it as well. Thank you, Paula Medford, sign language interpreter, Christina Riley, and Sandra White Belgrave, member and president, respectively, of the Barbados Horizon Deaf Charity. Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right,
Thank
the
you as
CBC
well.
News is coming up next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Monday, September 4th. Time for an update of the news. Agriculture Minister Inda Ware is encouraged about the possibility of workers in the island sugar industry being able to have a stake in its continued development. Minister Ware made the comment as he acknowledged that there's been an expression of interest by a local credit union consortium to take over the operations of the Barbados Agricultural Management Company. The minister tells CBC he's unable to go into details about the proposals since he still has to make a formal presentation to Cabinet for consideration.
I am pleased to note that there are private investors who have faith in what we are doing and who can see that the returns on their investment will be more than worth it. And I'm also pleased to note that it includes the workers. This is the first time we have an enfranchisement model that allows for the owners of the sugar industry, the workers, of the sugar industry to become the owners. This has never happened ever anyway in this hemisphere. And so therefore I think this will be a historic moment for Barbados. And these are the things that I'm happy about.
Barbadians are paying more this morning for petroleum products. The price of gasoline is now $4.22 per litre, while diesel is $3.47, an increase of 14 cents each. Kerosene has gone up by 29 cents to $2 per litre. The adjusted prices of liquefied petroleum gas will now be $150.90 for the 100-pound cylinder, $42.80 for the 25-pound cylinder, $37.85 for the 22-pound cylinder, and $34.41 for the 20-pound cylinder. 3 females have claimed the top prizes in this year's Don't Meth It Up competition. Organized by the National Council on Substance Abuse, the contest encouraged entrants to submit works on poetry, illustrative posters, or essays. In the end, Maria Chandler won the essay category, Carenza Yard poetry, while Anya Graves dominated the posters. The NCSA's Deputy Manager Troy Wickham says these contests are important in the anti-crime fight.
Know that through music, drama, dance, visual arts, you can draw attention to problems in their community, educate others on the benefits of a drug-free lifestyle, and suggest ways to deter the misuse of drugs. Research suggests that young adults who participate in bands, drama, art clubs are significantly less likely than non-participants to be arrested, that is, to come in contact with the criminal justice system, use drugs, or engage in binge drinking.
Well, that's it for news at this time. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Children, the summer holiday is almost over, but are you back to school ready? Get back to school ready with Mornin Barbados and get a chance to win a back to school bundle, including a printer, a tablet, and headphones, just in time for the new school year. The Mornin Barbados Are You Back to School Ready promotion starts August 31st until September 13th. If you're between the ages of 8 to 15, all you have to do is tune in to Mornin Barbados and listen for when we ask, are you back to school ready? Call us at 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer 3 questions correctly and your name goes forward to the final draw. Remember, callers must be between the ages of 8 and 15. The winner will be announced on September 14th.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together build.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. Just about 8.5 minutes after 7 o'clock. Are you back to school ready? You better be. Make sure you're ready when we come your way with those questions that's coming soon. So keep on watching and get the little ones close, because winning a bundle, a tech bundle, is no easy feat, nothing to sneeze at. A tablet, a headset, and a printer. That can ease your pocket. So make sure you get the little ones in. And remember, they have to be the ones to call. You can't call. So make sure that you're absolutely ready. All right, so we commenced the series last week talking with Dr. Dale Springer, consultant, general and breast surgeon at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, about breast health. We want to get you in the mode where you're thinking about what's happening with your body and most certainly getting all of the checks you need to get, certainly as you get older. But we want to talk specifically about breast health and breast cancer awareness as well. So let's say good morning and welcome to Morning Barbados to Dr. Dale Springer. Good to have you with us as always.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. And I hope you had a great weekend as well.
Yes, I did. Actually on call now, but it was quiet.
Understandable. All right, I want to delve into a few of the myths that we hear about, common myths that are out there about breast health or breast cancer that we want to put to rest.
Yes. So where would you like to start? Where should we start?
Well, for one, there are people out there who, when they think about breast health, they think that you should only start to really have your checks when you get a little early, a little later in life, or you get a little older, perhaps. Let's talk about that.
Yes, that is a common misconception. I think it's something that you can do and you should do from when you're very young, perhaps even in your 30s or so. When you get older in your 40s, then you'll start doing the mammograms and those kind of formal testing. But just being aware and checking your breast is something that you need to get into the habit of doing from very, very young. Yeah, and you will find things. Sometimes you may find lumps, and the majority of times they are not cancerous. But that's one of the things that will happen when you check your breast. You will start to get findings. And one of the common things is that if you find something like a lump, one of the common misconceptions you see, people think that it's cancerous, so they don't want to check. But the majority of times, in excess of 8%, in the order of 90%, that when you find these things, they are actually benign findings. But the only way to know for sure is to actually get them checked out after you have found them.
In your practice, how have you found that some of these myths and misconceptions can impact women moving forward with the proper treatment they need?
Yes, thank you very much. That's a really good question. And it does actually significantly impact on diagnosis to start with, because a lot of times women don't do their checks in like their self-breast examinations or their mammograms because of the fear of finding something. And then when they do find something and they come for treatment, sometimes they are reluctant to have the treatment because one of the other common myths that I encountered is that people think that once you operate on cancer, especially breast cancer, that will cause it to spread. Yeah, so that makes some patients a bit reluctant to go forward if surgery is advised.
Absolutely. Now, are there any, certain age groups or demographics that are more susceptible to believing these myths? Have you experienced, or is it across the board?
I would say it's across the board, but it tends to be in the older age groups when we find these misconceptions sometimes. But it's generally across the board. So I think it's really good that we need, and it's really important that we try to educate the public and discuss these things to hopefully bring some awareness and get people to have a different perspective and different thought process about these things.
Sometimes from where I sit, members of the public, obviously they would have a different view, but from where I sit as someone working in the media, it feels as though, we're often talking about these things. There's almost, if I can use the word, inundation, particularly when we have Breast Awareness Month coming up and the walk, and we have thousands upon thousands of people out there in their pink shirts. But are they going beyond just wearing the pink shirts and going out with the support and actually following through and doing their breast self-exams and following up with their examinations? Right. Is that translating? Are the numbers we're seeing outside translating to the numbers you're seeing in your offices?
I don't think it is as directly correlated, and I think there's not the translation, as you put it, between persons doing these activities and then getting checked. I would say that because of the latter stages of disease that we see presenting sometimes. And you will notice that, as you say inundation, but you will notice that coming on to September, October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, there's a lot of emphasis. But then during the rest of the months of the year, it tends to weed. So that's why we're trying to bring awareness throughout the year. Yes? Not to cause inundation or fatigue, breast awareness fatigue, but to bring more awareness throughout the year.
All right. And Dr. Springer, let's take this next comment I'm going to make in stride because obviously it's a very personal view, but this is my experience. I found that sometimes primary care physicians or, the physician that a lot of doctors, that a lot of people might go to, their regular doctor, as we would say, if they have a common cold or they're not feeling in the pink of health, they would go to this person. Do you find that these professionals are maybe making referrals enough or giving adequate and accurate information enough for people to be able to follow up where they see certain challenges? I've heard of instances where, there's been this lady and she was being treated for back pain for years. And then turns out then finally, she had she was far developed with breast cancer. And I mean, eventually she died. So do you think that, where I started, primary care physicians, general practitioners are doing enough to be able to share the information they need to and refer their patients in a timely manner?
Yes, definitely. I would say they're definitely doing a lot. The primary care physicians are a very important part of the prevention, diagnosis, treatment pathway. And the majority of referrals we get in the QEH for patients with breast cancer actually come from primary care physicians. Either the patient brought it to their attention or during their routine checkups, the physician discovered that they have a finding that is concerning and they proceed with further investigations and then refer the patients to us. So I think the primary care physicians are definitely doing their part. Obviously, yes, they can. You can always do more, but I think they're very aware that it is a serious condition and it's a serious problem for us, and they're definitely our allies and our partners in this fight.
Absolutely. That's super important. It's very important that you're speaking with one voice in terms of checking where there might always be some challenges. Now I know for a lot of people, and I've heard this with maybe older people as well, a lot of people are very afraid of surgery. So there are a lot of people who you would hear say, she was good and as soon as she cut it, like that was the problem. So,
Yes, and
what would be your advice to them?
Yes, that's one of the most common misconceptions that I encounter, and perhaps because I am a surgeon, yes, that once you cut cancer, it's going to spread, you're going to die. Sometimes they say about chemotherapy, once you start chemotherapy, that the chemotherapy is going to kill the good cells and the bad cells and will cause you to die. But I would say, generally, again, over 90% of the times, that is definitely not true. Breast cancer surgery is one of the safest types of surgery that you can have. And the way we're doing it now, yes, we have reached a stage where you're not even going to sleep. You're not even going on the ventilators to the point where some patients walk in, have their surgery, and they can walk out of the theater, more or less, almost literally. And when you do operate on cancer, it doesn't cause it to spread. It actually is one of the main weapons that we have to cure breast cancer.
What about women who must lose their breasts? Because I know sometimes when you operate, you take breast tissue, but there are women who do in fact lose their breasts. What are the options for them? Right. Because a lot of women, in this debunking the myths, they feel like, what am I going to do after I lose my breast?
Right. So I was first started saying it's not automatic that once you have a diagnosis of breast cancer, the surgery is mastectomy or taken off the breast. And it has been shown that you can do surgeries, breast conserving surgery, yes, to preserve the breast and remove the tumor, and you have just as good of outcomes. And the studies are even showing even better outcomes now. as compared to mastectomy. So it does not mean immediately to say you have breast cancer, mastectomy. And for patients who opt to have mastectomy, yes, there is the definitely option of reconstruction, which can either be by use of an implant, which is a prosthetic, which is placed in the under the skin or under the muscle, or you can have a flap made. So we have options to reconstruct the breast at the appropriate time in breast cancer treatment. And for persons who are not candidates for reconstruction, such as the older patients who have many illnesses that we want to give a shorter operation to, you can have a bra form or breast prosthesis, which can be placed in the bra, and it gives the appearance when you look externally that they have a breast. It can even be placed in swimsuit, so that when you go to the sea, it will still appear that you have a breast mount. So that is definitely a misconception that mastectomy is the only surgery available. Sometimes it is the only option, but we do have good options to bring about reconstruction. And that does help. It's been shown that it does help with the psyche of the women after they have had reconstruction.
Now, another misconception that I think a lot of people kind of hold close to themselves is that they believe that, you know, the only way breast cancer is present is if there's a noticeable lump or something of a sort on the breast. So let's talk about moving past just the examination, because my understanding is it can be present even without having a noticeable lump.
Yes, that is definitely correct. Yes, and that is where screening comes into play. If you don't have a lump, but screening is when you do a test in a patient who has no symptoms whatsoever, and sometimes you can have lesions that the patients wouldn't feel, lumps that the patient wouldn't feel, especially if the patients have bigger breasts or the lumps are deeper in the breast, or it may be at such an early stage, at a microscopic stage, what we call ductal carcinoma in situ or pre-invasive disease, but the mammograms would detect it.
And finally, we talked about this briefly last week. There's a misconception that only women can be affected by breast cancer as well.
Yes, that's another common one we get, but men do have some breast tissue and they also can get breast cancer. Granted, it's at a lower rate than women. So for every 100 women, we will have one man who gets breast cancer. But as you would appreciate, the majority of men would have less breast tissue than the average woman. So it tends to be a little more advanced when breast cancer is diagnosed in males. So, and because of that, we would still advocate that men, if they have a lump in their breast, if they have any concerns about their breast, that they also check their breast, because they too can get breast cancer.
Now, I know that most certainly a lot of people, women or people who have a history of breast cancer in their family, they're encouraged to get the checks. But I've heard people say things like, but there's no history in the family, so they feel like they don't need to check as well.
Right. No, everyone needs to check. Yes, persons who have a history of breast cancer in their family are naturally going to be more clued in and more looking for it. But still, everyone needs to check, because the majority of breast cancers happen in patients who don't have a family history, between 85 and 90%. You see, there's a misconception that, it would lump would go away, or it can be that, but the majority of times it wouldn't be. But you still have to check, because in the minority of times when it is that, you want to get your treatment as early as possible. In the earlier stage you catch breast cancer at, the less intensive the treatment is sometimes, and the more likely you are to achieve a cure.
Well, I want to thank you so much, as always, Dr. Dale Springer. And of course, dispelling these myths is imperative to ensure that individuals have the accurate knowledge about breast health that they need to be able to, do their regular breast self-examinations, maybe clinical screening, in maintaining good health generally, and of course, making sure that they share the information around with the other people around them. So again, thank you. Definitely a very informative session this morning. I want to thank you again.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And I certainly hope that that discussion moves you to doing the right thing. Make sure that you do your screenings, do your exams, encourage the people around you to do the same. Hey, we're going to take another break and come back. It's Morning Barbados, the Monday, September 4th edition.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning again. Don't forget, get close to your telephones, because when I say the words, and you know what the words are you ready? Are you back to school ready? Yeah, you have to get it right. Then make sure you get close to the phone lines. Remember, you must be between the ages of 8 and 15 in order to call in and answer those questions for your name to go in the pool. We're going to announce the winner on September 14th, so make sure you get in. This week is critical. All right, speaking of critical, we have a very important seminar that's coming up. It's absolutely free, and we want to make sure that you can really capitalize on this and use it to be able to boost your business or boost your creativity, boost your creative spaces, whatever it will be able to do for you. Sade Jemmett is an attorney at law and business consultant, and she joins us now to talk about the Blueprint for Success. Is coming up on September 10th, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock at Building Number 2 Harbor Road. It's a free business building workshop to help better navigate in business, the business side of creativity. All right, and we're about to get registration going. So good morning to you, Sade.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you with us. So tell me all about this. First, what's in the name? The Blueprint for Success.
Well, in early January 2022 now, yes, I would have launched a book, a business building framework called The Blueprint. It was really developed from a tool that I was using with my business development clients to help them really structure their business, because in my experience, what I found is that persons just started businesses without necessarily covering off all of their fundamentals. And a lot of people were actually operating, what they were calling as side hustles. And I wanted to help introduce some formality to this informal operation and help them to structure their business to be more resilient, especially in a post-pandemic world. So that's where the name comes from. It comes from the book. It's called The Blueprint Business Planner. And with the help of the NCF and their Cultural Industries Development Fund, I am about to launch the second edition of that book. So this workshop is really an opportunity to give a practical demonstration of how the framework works, building on the commonly used business model canvas.
That is so beautiful, and I'm intrigued already. I can't wait for book number 2, but I'm gonna have to read book number 1 first, because through the years, what I've noticed is for people who we call talented, who they have the traditional talents, it's easy to say, "Oh, you're a wonderful singer. Oh, you're so good at this, you're so good at that." But then there are some other people, they don't even recognize how good they are at some things. So I'm happy to hear you talking about turning your cultural and creative passion into a viable business. Let's talk a little bit about that transition and how you deal with that within the pages and how you plan to deal with that in the workshop.
In the workshop, okay. So So what I've seen, especially for creative persons, they have incredible skill, but when it comes to the business side of their operation, sometimes they will skip the not fun parts. There's nothing fun about necessarily structuring your business and building out your operations per se, especially if you're really pursuing something that you're passionate about. You want to paint, you want to sing. That's something that's coming from your soul. But dealing with kaipo, or trying to navigate what your obligations are to NIS or the BRA, those are not the fun parts of business. And oftentimes what people do is they cut corners when the business isn't worth much more than sentiment, and then it comes back later and it's problematic. So you may have someone, for example, that's a hairdresser, or someone who is offering waxing services, and they don't put terms and conditions in place, or they don't have the infrastructure that makes the business side of things work. And then it's only when they encounter a problem that it becomes evident that they ought to have done this and they ought to have done that. I'm really trying to make an earlier intervention and ensure that you help them to identify where the gaps exist in the business structure that they're building, so that they can scale, and they can scale confidently with the knowledge and the confidence that they've covered their bases. They're not just throwing open their doors and hoping that it works, or that they're not reaping success that they can't deconstruct and reproduce as and when necessary.
And what I've found as well is a lot of people who are really good at specific things, and they start these businesses they're passionate about, or that, where their hearts really lie, or they're really good at, is that they don't know when or how to ask for help. So they tend to feel like, I have to do everything. How am I going to be able to do this? To use one of your examples, be able to reconcile your accounts, or be able to handle all of your marketing, along with doing your social media and this and that and the other. And all of a sudden, it's so overwhelming. The product itself is suffering.
Exactly. So that's where the blueprint actually comes in. It's more like a workbook than it is a set of theory that you read, right? So the idea is that as persons work their way through each tab section of the book, they're actually drafting in a very practical way a business plan that they can execute. And the methodology that is used for the blueprint is that it's short, implementable tasks that are broken down section by section. And as you basically move from the very, very beginning, your overview, your structuring, what type of business structure that's available in Barbados is appropriate for your business. Do you need to incorporate with all of the costs associated with incorporation, or can you use a business name? And understanding the implications of one decision versus the other. What are your tax obligations with one structure versus another, your maintenance obligations, those kinds of things. And then we go all the way through to identifying your target market, identifying your strategies for building out your business, and what does your business look like month to month for the next 12 months. And it's really broken down into some very strategic questions that prompt the entrepreneur to think about some things that may not be front of mind. So you may be operating and you never really sat down and planned out, what is my development roadmap? How am I going to introduce? So I want to introduce 2-3 new products, but when am I going to do that? How am I going to work on the business as I work in the business? So the blueprint is really just a place that you can get some of that support, some of that professional advice and hand-holding to kind of help you to focus and map out the way forward for your business. And that's why I'm targeting solo entrepreneurs, persons who are operating in the informal business sector, and persons who really haven't benefited from a significant amount of professional support or advice. Because really and truly, it's really about lowering. My objective is to lower the barrier to access to professional services for entrepreneurs, because people are doing business, right? But I just want to help them do better business.
All right. And as the book says, build that business brick by brick. We most certainly can That's an analogy you can relate to, because if you pass by on one day, there's nothing there, and the next day there's something going up. So that's truly relatable. Talk to us about the registration process. How are we able to be a part of it?
Well, it's a very simple registration process. If you land on any of my pages or the NCF's page, you can actually access a Google form, a simple registration link. I must admit that we are pretty much fully subscribed for this particular workshop at this point in time. It happened quite quickly, in about 2 or 3 days. And I do think that we need to have a few others, but it just so happens that I'm about to go on maternity leave. So what we're going to do is we're going to get through this one, and we're going to see how we can perhaps repackage it for an online version that can be self-guided. And then once I am back from maternity leave, I would be happy to have a few more of those sessions. You can access the registration link on my Instagram or Facebook or Twitter pages, Shade Jammeh Consulting. You just click the link in bio and you can go through the very simple registration process, which is really just to give me an idea of what you're expecting and what your business is, so I can customize your experience. And in the workshop itself, we're really going to be working on your business model canvas. So that's a snapshot, a bird's eye view of your business that's going to take you through, in broad strokes, the areas that are covered in the blueprint book. So that even if you decide not to get your own copy of the blueprint, you still leave the workshop with some assistance and a better perspective on your business.
All right, that's excellent. Good stuff. And as we close out, one final piece of advice from you, the expert, on what people should do outside of registering for this course once it is back. I hope that you still have at least a few spaces that are left for any viewers who might want to jump in quickly. But what final advice will you have for anyone who's out there sitting on some talent or passion that they really can build on?
Well, yes, we'll take a few more people, because I'm sure, as you know, with things that are free, sometimes we don't value them, right? So I expect that, 1 or 2 people may not show up. So we're going to take a few more registrations. But in terms of a piece of advice, it would really be to take the time to identify why your who wants your what. And that's really the essence of a successful business. Why is the value proposition? What is the value proposition that you're offering to the who, your target market, in relation to the what you're offering? So that is, I tell people all the time, it's the fundamental question that you need to answer when you're trying to create a successful business. Why does your who want your what? So my advice would be to really concentrate on coming up with a very strong answer to that question.
All right, I'm thinking about it already. Who wants my what? That's very, very important in business. So make sure you get online and do your registration. Remember, it's going to be very important that you get in there. You should be online already. She said a few more registrations. I don't want you to miss out. It's coming up September 10th, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. at building number 2. It's a free business building workshop to help you better navigate in the business side of creativity. And of course, registration is indeed required. Is it only in person or is it hybrid? You might be able to include a few additional people if you do it hybrid. I don't know. I'm not trying to change your setup, but for the viewers.
To be honest, we are only doing it in person because I really want it to be a practical workshop. I'm not there trying to teach, right? I'm really trying to support. So it's really important that people see it not as a talk shop, but as an opportunity to really move the needle on their business. So that's one of the reasons why initially I was thinking, let me do this online. And then I said, no, I want to touch and feel the entrepreneurs. I want us to be able to work together, do breakout sessions, pair together, iron sharpens iron. So when you present your business and you're looking at breaking down the different blocks, the 9 or so building blocks of the business, someone in that room is going to have something to offer you. You don't get the same level of interaction online. So
exactly.
For now, we're going to do it in person. We're going to touch and feel each other, and we're going to try to move the needle on this one. And then I'm happy to consider other iterations, because I've gotten some requests from persons elsewhere in the Caribbean to participate in this workshop. So I have to figure out a modality that allows them to do that.
So again, thank you so much, Sade Jemmett, attorney at law, business consultant, author. We didn't put everything on there, it's a long list. But thank you. We truly appreciate all that you're doing, even as you prepare to head off on maternity leave. I wish you all the best, and I certainly hope the workshop is all you want it to be. I'm sure it absolutely will be. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, have you heard of the Martyrs? We're taking you back in time, back in space, as we talk about a gospel group, pretty popular back in the day, and now they're back for a reunion. A familiar face is in the studio. That's all coming up next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit. Tested.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. In the arms of sweet deliverance, gonna lay my heavy burden down and with my Lord and abide. When I last my traveling days are done, in the land somewhere beyond the sun, in the arms of sweet deliverance, in the arms of sweet deliverance, I shall rest by and by. In the arms of sweet deliverance, gonna lay my heavy burden down and with my Lord and abide. When I last my traveling days are done, in the land somewhere beyond the sun, in the arms of sweet deliverance, in the arms of sweet deliverance, I shall rest by and by. Others have had much more than enough. Many other days my path is rough. Many other days I wondered what to do. One day I talked to the Lord in prayer.
So this photo takes us back apparently to 1972. It's a little before my time. It's a lot before my time. But these guys are here. So Bishop Nigel Harris and Leroy Straker, members of the Martyrs from way back when. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you.
Good morning to you, T. Good morning, Barbados.
And Mrs. Straker, you wear so many hats. It's always great to see you.
Wear or war? Wear or war?
Pardon me?
War.
Where? You still do.
Still wearing hats, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even have on this morning, man, you know.
I was trying to figure out who's who
In the picture.
in that picture. So tell me. So tell us.
We go from...
If you look at the photo, there
Okay.
were three of you.
Three of us. Vincent is at the left, Vincent Johnson. He's living in Canada now. Nigel Harris is in the center. This is Nigel here,
Right here.
my buddy. And I'm at the extreme right, you know. So that picture goes way back. 1972.
All afros.
That's you with the head to the side?
Yeah, me stand there with my head
Look
lean.
at you.
Yeah. Smart looking, huh? We were good looking boys then, huh?
and look at the froze.
The afros. Compared to
No, I'm very interested in hearing from you how you got into performing gospel music back then.
Yeah, well, back then, back in the 60s, gospel, the church was the place where we used to be. There was no telephone. There was no electricity in the house. There was no cars around, no televisions and those sort of things. So church and school was all we had, Now we were celebrating this song in the Arms of Sweet Deliverance that was recorded in 1973 by the Martyrs, 3 of us who ended up being the Martyrs. Now the Martyrs started back in 1965, with about 7 of us in the Church of God, the New Testament Church of God, back in Bridgefield in St. Thomas. There were 7 of us, and circumstances happened that some of the fellas left. But the 3 of us, Vincent, Niger, and myself, continued with this group called the Martyrs. And, it's 50 years ago we celebrated this particular song called In the Arms of Sweet Deliverance. How old you were?
Come on, Leroy. You know I wasn't around back then. Now, Bishop Harris, talk to me then about, what made this particular song, so important to you.
It became very important. We sang that song at a competition, really. There was a time when there were a number of competitions going on within the sphere of gospel music. And it was Youth for Christ. Youth for Christ.
Stephen Sanford.
Yeah, that was big. And we represented the Northern Zone. So we just didn't represent a church. We represented the Northern Zone at a competition. And we came second. And, it was said that we just missed out by maybe a half of a point.
Listen, I hear these stories all the time. They're like, we almost won.
Almost won?
Like half a point. So how did you get together? 7 guys in the church. But, was it that you guys always loved music? Did some elder in the church kind of tell you to try it out? Or did you organically just kind of form this group?
Well, I think it was more organic. There were a number of guys who in church, and the tambourine would have been the thing then. It's a Pentecostal church, and tambourine and knocking,
the
different
triangle.
things. Yes,
and
yes,
the guitar.
You got it.
And the guitar as well.
The guitar, and we were involved then, and out of that came the group. As Leroy said, there were a number of members before, and eventually it boiled down to 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And we all played instruments. And it was after the success in the competition. Mm-hmm. And right now I see it looking back 50 years as a project, because Leroy was the leader. And he decided, we've got to do something with this song. The response was great. And therefore we went into recording, and Leroy can tell you about the recordings at the time, what it was like in comparison to now with, mixing this and mixing that. Leroy can actually tell you.
Yeah, well, after we came second to another big group that was involved in the gospel music at that time, then the concert was held at the Eagle Hall Nazarene Tabernacle, right? And the 3 of us sang this song come second. But then we went into doing a recording of the same song at a studio called Stereo Songs Studio, which was run by Eddie Da Silva, a Guyanese fella, and that studio was done by Rediffusion. So we went in, we heard the Glorylanders Gospel Band, went into the studio, Stereo Songs Studio, and recorded this song, which became this big hit. It became a #1 hit, as a matter of fact, on Rediffusion charts back in 1973, September 1973. So that's why this month, September, is such a special time for us to be, sort of celebrating. So what we're doing with this song, actually, we have brought back the group. Well, Vincent, he's still in Canada, but we substitute another guy. He's absent due to work issues, a fellow called Earl Gibson. He's the 3rd person. He does a very good tenor as well. So we brought back these guys, and what we're doing is having a get-together next week, Tuesday, the 12th of September at the Bridgefield New Testament Church of God, where we're going to be singing some of these songs from yesteryear. And we have invited some other gospel groups. We invited people like Anne Riley, Emmanuel Joseph, Sister Marshall. We invited one or two fellows from the Glorylanders Gospel Seeds and Glorylanders Gospel Band.
Yeah.
But then we have the Gospel Seeds involved. They won't be singing, but they will be involved in sort of testimony and remarks.
Reminiscing as well.
Looking back at gospel music from yesteryear, you know. And that is happening at the New Testament Church of God in Bridgefield. These are our origins. We come from a small village in St. Thomas called Bridgefield, where all this music went about. And we became very popular back then, you know, Tisha.
Yeah.
The group was fantastic. You hear from the sound, the richness of the sound. Now, when we went into that studio, the studio then was not like the studios are now, where just punching things and you make a little mistake and take out this thing, an engineer check out this. We sang the song from top to bottom. And we made a mistake, remember the mistake we made? And then we had to go over the song with the whole band. Start again from top and come right away along down with this thing called In the Arms of Sweet Deliverance. But then the success of the song was really great. So that put us on a pinnacle, and then we started to travel then with Joseph Nudge, because he was the godfather of gospel music back then. And Joseph, we traveled with him all through Barbados. As a matter of fact, we went to Trinidad with a group called, another fellow called Philip Jordan, singing in Princess Town in Trinidad, and they loved us there as well. So the Martyrs were, you know, hot in the day before you were around, And I was 22 years old when we did that song, but I was involved in Martyrs from when I was about at school, 16 years old or so.
Wow, that's a really interesting story, especially considering for me, on this day, this very day, I'd say maybe 4 years ago, I was in New York at a performance with a group. Can't remember the name of the group, at one of the Caribbean churches, and they were doing a tribute to Joseph Niles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so definitely still very relevant, still very beautiful music, and even the guys in the back love this one, In the Arms of Sweet Deliverance.
Yeah.
So we're coming out on the 12th to the New Testament Church of God, Bridgefield, St. Thomas. I wouldn't miss that for the world.
It's free to everybody.
To see you guys performing some of these older ones. So you and your two compatriots, one's not here for work commitment, but you're going to be kind of bringing the group back together. And sharing some of the
music. We can be doing a lot of these old songs. We have 4 records, you know, what we call 45s then.
Okay.
Wings of a Dove, Prayer is the Key, same In the Arms of Sweet Deliverance.
God loves you.
God loves you. You know, at that time used to be the little 45s used to play. I used to walk out and sell those records, you know, sort of thing. Boy,
always industrious, always the industrious one. That's wonderful stuff. It's been great having you gentlemen in, Bishop Nigel Harris and Leroy Straker, members of the Martyrs. If you remember, you should drop us a note at Mornin Barbados at cbc.bb, morning without the G, and tell us what you remember of the Martyrs from back in the day and that particular song, In the Arms of Sweet Deliverance. Number 1 on Radio Fusion charts for 5 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
In September and October back in 1973. Very, very interesting and good stuff. So make sure you come on. A big shout out to Stereo Songs from back in the day. Stereo Song Studio, and Eddie De Silva.
Rosa, we call him.
Known as Roser in Calypso circles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So wonderful to have you gentlemen, as I said.
Good to be here.
Yeah? And any final words to your fans?
Well, we're looking to pack the church up, man, you know. We're thankful to the Reverend, the church right now. He is allowing us to be there, Reverend Felton Nurse, and his congregation. We want all those people, listen, people who are 50 years old wouldn't know much about this song, or 60 years old wouldn't know much about this song. So we are going back. We're going to teach them some things that used to happen back in the day in Niger.
Yes.
Well, you say 50 or 60, what about 40s?
40s, okay.
Come on. So definitely.
On the wings of a snow white dove, he said it's so sweet love, a sign from above. Sign from above.
On the wings of a dove.
I better join the group. I know that one. All right, again, thank you so much for coming in, and I wish you the best on the 12th.
Thank you very much.
Most certainly we'll try to drop in and enjoy some of that music as well.
Of course. Thank you.
Right, we're going to take a break. I have a question for you when we come back. Are you back to school ready? Get close to your phone lines. I have some questions for you. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to max.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Children, the summer holiday is almost over, but are you back to school ready? Get back to school ready with Mornin Barbados and get a chance to win a back to school bundle, including a printer, a tablet, and headphones, just in time for the new school year. The Mornin Barbados Are You Back to School Ready promotion starts August 31st until September 13th. If you're between the ages of 8 to 15, all you have to do is tune in to Mornin Barbados and listen for when we ask, are you back to school ready? Call us at 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer 3 questions correctly and your name goes forward to the final draw. Remember, callers must be between the ages of 8 and 15. The winner will be announced on September 14th.
I certainly hope the answer is a resounding yes, and those phone lines are blazing up because the question is that time, are you back to school ready? I have your questions waiting for you, and you are checking in for a chance at a tech bundle. So you get a tablet, you get a fantastic headset, you get a printer as well, just for being back to school ready. You're calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563 and answering a simple question. Remember, the adults, you can't get in here, must be the little ones getting in and answering. So you must be between the ages of 8 and 15. Come on in, answer the question, and you get a chance to win. Are you back to school ready? You don't have to be nervous about the questions either. We're going to keep them nice and simple, all about school, just to make sure that you are in that frame of mind where you are ready for back to school. So we have a caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling me from?
Tania Christchurch.
Kalia?
Tania.
Camille. All right. Are you back to school ready?
Yes, please.
All right. So I have 3 questions for you. You have to turn your television set down because we're going to be a little behind. So it might confuse you just a little bit. All right. So if you could turn down the TV just a little bit for me or move away from it. All right. So are you ready for your first question?
Yes, please.
What are 3 essential items you need in your backpack for school?
A ruler, a geometry set, and a folder.
Absolutely, that's a good answer. Now name 3 subjects that you typically have to study in school.
Math, geography, and English.
That is good. And tell me, how many days are there in a school week?
5.
That's absolutely correct. So you are right. Congratulations. Your name goes into the pool for a chance to win. How old are you?
14.
And which school are you representing for?
Harrison College.
All right. Woo woo. Good morning to everybody from Harrison College. Congratulations. I hope you win. Good stuff. All right. Can we take another call? Probably not. It's cutting a little bit close. So we're going to try to get in some more calls. Make sure you get close to those phone lines. Turn your television sets down when you call us to make sure that you can get in. So congratulations to our last caller. Hey, we're going to take a break and come back and wrap up today's edition. Stay with me.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
Children, the summer holiday is almost over, but are you back to school ready? Get back to school ready with Mornin Barbados and get a chance to win a back to school bundle, including a printer, a tablet, and headphones, just in time for the new school year. The Mornin Barbados Are You Back to School Ready promotion starts August 31st until September 13th. If you're between the ages of 8 to 15, all you have to do is tune in to Mornin Barbados and listen for when we ask, are you back to school ready? Call us at 228
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so that's it from us for today. I certainly hope you had a great time with us. Remember, it is Deaf Awareness Month, so bear that in mind. I certainly hope you learned something. This morning, we shared with you how to, absolutely say good morning, and it's okay, and thank you, and all that good stuff, all right? So coming up tomorrow, conversations on CARICOM. You want to make sure that you stay tuned for that. Mr. Executive 2023 winner, first and second runners-up will also be here to speak about the experience. All that and more is coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, so make sure you join us. Remember to wear your smiles as you go through your day today, and be sure to come on back tomorrow. On behalf of the entire team, have a great day today and a good week. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.